the hardest thing for me was understanding that I did need help. I'll say it today. I'm a dang good electrician. I'm a really hard worker, especially when it's got my name attached to the brand. It's hard to know you need help. It's hard to admit that maybe there's people that know better about this business stuff than me. You know, Reaching out to, if nothing else, like a coaching group. I know two guys that are great right here on the podcast with me. Don't be ashamed to take that advice. Don't be ashamed to act on it, and don't be ashamed to ask questions. I wish I had done it 3 years before I did. It would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of headache. Yeah.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the $1 Million Electrician Podcast, where we help home service pros like you supercharge your business and spark up those sales.
I'm Joseph Lucani, and together with my co-host, Clay Newmeyer, we're here to share the secrets that have helped electricians sell over $1 million from a single service van.
Now, it's time for sales. It's time for scale. It's time to become $1 million electrician. And we've got Austin Matthews back. It's been a little over a year, I think, since we did your first interview, Austin, but welcome back to the show. We had a ton of fun. On the last episode, we talked about how when you first started out, I think you described it as good old boy electric, that initial approach, maybe, service last, just trying to make it work, right? Like so many of us do. Do you remember those times, the good old boy electric times, Austin?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good times, kind of.
Lay it on us, man. That feels like there's a backstory attached to that.
Yeah. I'm glad that I get paid now. That's awesome. That's the best part, is that I actually get paid to work. Yeah. I think that's a very good way to put that.
Yeah. Fair enough. So would you say that you're in good old boy electric today, or has that changed a bit for you?
If we are, I would say that we've redefined good old boy electric. I think we've got some good old boys working here. I can tell you that much. I'm very proud of the changes we've made. I think everyone that works here, even the guys that came on last year, would say, even from when they started last year, we have grown exponentially as a team, as a company, as electricians, as humans, all of it, man.
Yeah. You said some really important things there, actually, like growing as a team and the whole team being bought into, we're not who we were. This is a different identity. I'm going to ask you a hard question. What do you think your team would identify as today? If we were to ask them that, what is it? If it's not good old boy electric, or if you've changed the meaning of good old boy electric, what does it mean today? Do you think, if they were to answer that?
The what I would want to hear is, we're the home service professionals. But the truth is, this is probably what you're going to hear. You're going to hear more along the lines of, we're a group that tries really hard every day. You're going to hear, we're trying to do right. We're going the extra mile. Just the other day, I heard, so that this happened twice now. One of the guys the other day just happened to mention, like, yeah, I remember that job. That's the job I went home and recorded the TV show for the lady, and then brought it back and emailed it to her the next day. And I was like, I thought that technician did that. He said, no, he did it too. That was a different job. And it's like, that's something that a year ago, I don't know if I would have thought of. You know what I mean? I don't know if any of my guys would have thought of that. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you're seeing it come out like, why am I seeing a Shrek reference? We shouldn't have started with dad stuff, because I'm feeling like layers to an onion here.
Yeah.
Parfaits. Everybody loves parfaits.
Thank you, Eddie Murphy. Parfaits. Everybody loves parfaits. So there's layers to this. The people are complimenting each other at this point, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah. Overall, absolutely.
What changes within the person? What changed within the value set? Like, how would you even begin to quantify this? How do they become that team that takes care of the person versus that team that maybe rushes in, rushes out, takes care of themselves? Where do you think that change starts?
I've got a really good answer to that. It's probably not what anyone's going to expect, right? Me taking a step back and me not A, micromanaging, and B, allowing people to fill the roles that need to be filled. So we've got this employee, his name's Wes. I've known Wes for 10, 15 years now. I remember his first time in Georgia as an electrician, right? Um, Wes is our service manager now. He oversees the install crews. And when we made that decision to put Wes in that position, it was because I realized, wow, these guys need me to answer their questions, run material, lay them out on job sites, and there's 3 crews of them, and I also need to help with the sales team, help with customer service. At some point, I have to run a business as well, right? And it's like I'm failing them by trying to do it all myself, right? And so we took our sure enough A player Wes and said, hey man, you've got all the qualities we love to see in an electrician in a person. How can we empower you to rub off on other people? And it's like we're going to pull you out of you're still going to be in the van, maybe it was a pickup truck now, but we're going to pull you out of that install van. And it's like I want you to get these guys to the point you're at. I want you to help them grow, help push them, lead the way. You're already leading the way. And it's like I can't do it the way you can, because at the end of the day too, like I'm the owner, so I have a different perspective on what needs to be done than they do as well. And so me taking a step back and allowing other people to step up to fill that place where I stepped from, and to take the reins and just go. Obviously there's some oversight there. Obviously me and Wes talk a lot, but it's beautiful. It's what it is.
I love that. How do you know, like, if someone's listening to this and they're like, well, maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need to bring a guy up the ladder or someone in to be an install manager. Did you second guess that at all? Was there like a period where you thought, well, if this guy's not on the tools, that's a hard transition? How did you know that needed to happen at that point?
Wes in an install van was the equivalent of having 2 install teams in one van. That was how good he is, right? And so for us to lose that, I was scared to death. I was like, we've got we have a bunch of young technicians that are hungry, that are eager, they're learning and working. But then I had my one, guy that's been here for a while that's really bought into the brand, bought into the what we are, what we do, um, and pulling him from that spot. It's very scary. It's hard, right? But when I got to the point where I realized I'm on the phone saying, yeah, I'll send you the address, and I hang up the phone and I call someone else and say, hey, where are you at? What can I do with you? And I never send the address. And then I never go and buy the GFIs, or I never, and then so then it's like 2 hours later, I get another phone call and it's like, hey, dude, I'm still sitting at Home Depot. What are you doing? And it's like we kind of grew into that from we didn't have a choice. It was like this isn't going to keep working unless I'm willing to step back and allow someone to do that job. Um,
I feel like it's one of those situations where it's a struggle that most business owners have, because we all look at it like it's our baby. Like we started off talking about kids, but literally it's like your baby, and you built it and you're nurturing it and you got it out of the cradle and it's currently walking on its own. You're like, all right, we're getting it there. But then you got to put your hands off if they ride the bike for the first time. Like, I've got to trust you. I've got to be willing to let you skin your knee a little bit, because otherwise you're the hover parent, and the hover parent can't do everything. Like, we just can't. We don't have the mental processing power to do all the things for all the people. So I think it's a really emotionally mature decision to say, I'm willing to step back to better everything.
Yeah, and I think I'll say this too. I think the install guys are very happy I did, because they were very tired of me falling short of my obligation to them. Is the most professional way to put it. They're sick and tired of me not bringing the stuff.
So frustrations were mounting. You're realizing, hey, I'm kind of cheating on myself and my team here by not getting enough stuff done to keep them moving forward. It becomes a tripping point, and you just say, heck, who's better than Wes to move up with his ability to install twice as much, it sounds like, as other guys at that point. So congratulations on that. But also, I mean, what a it seems like a risk, right? To lose that in the field and then to put that into management. Have you been able to see that translate into better installs beneath Wes, would you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, there's that factor of when it's an emergency situation, like something comes up and it's like, we don't know how to do this. We can't do this. We need to back up and punt, or we need to pivot. He was the king of that. He was the guy that he didn't call me and say, "Hey, man, I don't know what to do right now." He was the guy that called me and said, "Man, you won't believe we bumped into this, but the cool thing was we found this, and we're actually done 30 minutes early. What you got?"
I also think there's another factor that we may not be fully hitting on, in that if you hadn't moved Wes out, you could have created a liability for yourself. Because imagine you've got a guy who can do the work of 2 installs, and you've built your foundation on this one guy. But like I see it, like you got a couple blocks as your foundation, and were he to, for whatever reason, be pulled out of that block, the whole pyramid can fall down. But because you actually took him and move it higher, you reinforce the foundation with something else, and he's less likely to topple. And as a result, you are less likely to topple.
Absolutely. And what really
Did you
changed
preach?
for me was when I started looking at it and saying, who's really suffering right now, right? Like, it's not me, it's not Wes. Yeah, my installers are a little bit, but who has the most to lose by me not doing this? It's my customers,
Mm,
right? They're not getting served the way that Cameron, our all-star over here, going and looking at the work, pricing the work, building that relationship. Because of me, we're not holding up our end of the bargain, right? And that's something like I've had to struggle with that for years now, where I say, guys, if we don't do what we're saying we're going to do, we're just lying to our customer's face, and we'll just shut down. Like, I'm not doing that. So once I realized, the customers are the ones that stood the most to lose, then it makes it a no brainer to me. It's like, we have to make a change then, and that's a good way to look at any part of the business, really.
based on the customer satisfaction.
Yeah,
Work backwards from there. Is that what you're saying?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, nice perspective. I like that shift. So instead of just what you're thinking and feeling, actually escaping your own thoughts and feelings, going to your customers and asking them, really, how do we serve you better? And maybe there's a bit of a metaphor there, and it's not just going to them and asking them physically, but in doing that, you realize this. You mentioned Cam being an all-star. How have you seen him develop, and what role is he for anyone listening that maybe hasn't seen or heard of this before?
Yeah. So Cameron's been with us for coming up on 4 years, actually, in 2 months from now. Yeah, man. And again, Cameron and Wes both. I've known Cameron for dang near 15 years now. We came up together, and he his role here is I don't want to call it sales manager. He's the guy when it comes to going to customers. He's our first line of attack, so to speak. He's the one the customers get to meet for estimates. He's the one that goes out and does pretty much all of our estimates and whatnot. He does all the bigger opportunity stuff and the small stuff as well. But he's grown, I would say, 50% or more since January, just through consistent practice. Not what I love about it is he doesn't want me to hold his feet to the fire and say, practice this, learn this, do this. You know what I mean? He wants to do it different. He wants to do better, right? And he's like me. He takes it very serious when it comes to what we tell our customers. We better back that up. And so he's trying to find different ways to get better and stuff. And in the tune of, like, he's going to blow. This is the $1 Million Electrician podcast, right? He's going to blow so far past $1 million this year. That's going to be done here in the next 2 months. Um, he's great at what he does, and it's not because he sits here and practice objection handles and practice, hard closes and all this other stuff. It's because he goes out and he bonds with these people and he makes connections with them and he serves them the way they want to be served,
Cameron's made me very proud working with him. And I feel like you're almost selling him a little short. Like,
Yeah.
and so from what I understand, when we first started working with him, he was around like the 40 to 60,000 per month ticket, like right around there. And
Yeah,
based
probably.
on what we've been tracking, I remember you're saying since January, it was like 80, then 90, and then just last month hit 110.
Yeah, he had 117 the month before that too, I think. So
There
he
you
he did
go.
one. He also only worked 3 weeks when he did 110 last month. He had a vacation in there too. So
Wow.
110 with a week off, 117 with a week off. Like this
yeah,
guy's an all-star. He's an absolute A
yeah,
player.
yeah. He'll break 100 this month as well. That's not a question. So
Yeah.
um,
I love that.
yeah,
I remember in the beginning, like when this all started, what I remember about Cam early on was he was in the calls with you. He's in the office with you, sitting next to you. You were both just absorbing Joe's teachings and what's in the program and coming to class and just being students and then going out and executing. And challenge by challenge, win by win, here we are today. Who would have thought you'd be sitting here and saying exactly what you just said, which is you would not be surprised to see him blow well past $1 million by the end of the year.
yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think he's pushing himself as well to break that. Um, like you said, he's been in it. He actually was the one that brought the idea of being a service focused provider to us. 4 years ago when he came here, he actually came from a company that's owned by a private equity group, um, primarily a HVAC company. He was their one of their 2 or 3 electricians, and so he had a little taste of it before. And before he actually came to work with us, me and him would talk, every week or so, and he was just throwing it around the idea of it. And then he started getting serious about it, and I was like, I mean, I don't understand it, but sure, come on, let's try it. And that's what planted the seeds. And then I met you guys, I guess about 2 or 3 years ago now, and just y'all started kind of watering those seeds, and then we joined the group with you guys almost 2 years ago now, and it's just been there's miracle grow on the seeds now.
I love it.
Miracle
Give him the
Grow.
root steroids.
That's awesome. You mentioned this private equity thing. I think there's a bigger conversation there too that most people don't realize. Like we've seen it in class. Austin, you've been a part of the discussions where, man, those guys cast a big shadow sometimes around us. It's hard to compete on Google. It's hard to compete with thousands of reviews, which some of these bigger conglomerates they're beasts to deal with. It's David and Goliath, literally. But I love where Cam came from. I love this story because we so often say this: let them market to the masses and spend more than you could, while you market to their people for a wholesome place to actually feel appreciated as a person, not just a number putting numbers up. And I think that's such a huge opportunity for any company, whether you're the size of Austin or just the smallest guy out there. It's huge.
Absolutely. And just like you said, they cast a heck of a shadow, man. Our, the number one person above us has 35,000 Google reviews. We're second with 149.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Goliath for sure.
Yeah. And that's cool. They can do their thing. I love being right there, right there. When you scroll past that name that everyone knows so well, then you see me right there. So, um, yeah.
Around the time of our last podcast, I remember there was a moment where you and Cam actually got in a bit of competition. And I think
Mhm.
this aligns with the major thread here of being able to step back and let people succeed under you and let them take charge of their areas. You had a big month. I think you sold 100,000 something about a year
123 to
ago.
be exact.
who's counting though, right?
It was about a year ago, August of 2024. I need to make a plaque and put it right there. Um, yeah, yeah. But you want to hear something crazy about that though.
Yeah.
So this year, I think I might have actually ran 10 calls myself this year. I look at it as all I'm doing is just taking away their opportunities. And even, we've got a younger sales team as well under Cam. And I'm just stealing from them if I'm out running calls. That's kind of what I'm doing. That 123 included a $40,000 house, a 30 something thousand dollar, maybe another house or another commercial project that was 37,000 dollars. I had 70 something thousand in two projects. Um, this year we have not done one single new construction home. So Cam's breaking these hundreds and 110s with zero houses. I think we've sold 4 generators this year. So we're not off. Those numbers aren't from generators. They're not from houses. Anyone listening saying it can't be done, keep making excuses. It can be done. It can be done doing can lights.
What do you think is your most popular and profitable job that Cam sells then?
Probably service upgrades. I think that's probably a lot of people are going to say that too. But it's not the service upgrade itself where I feel like we really specialize. Like we do a really good job at those. That's probably my favorite job for us to do. It's the additional work that goes with that, right? So it's not like the last 2 service upgrades we did also came with full house redevices. And then also it's like, okay, well, hey, by the way, your kitchen has one circuit that controls the microwave, fridge, and all 3 of the crock pots. And it's like, well, yeah, we're fixing your main service system here, but that's not going to fix that. And so here's what we can do to fix that as well. And so that's what takes those once you get to the point of, okay, well, we're hitting these $7,500, $8,500 tickets on the service upgrades, that puts you in that 10, 11, 12, and it boosts the ticket a little bit, but it's what these people need. If you just go in there and give them a service upgrade, that's going to fix that problem. But if you don't address the kitchen or the lighting, or the 2-prong outlets in here, if you don't actually address that, then you're not really serving them right.
Something else that's really cool about the service upgrades that not a lot of people speak to is the labeling. Because you think to yourself, like, okay, everyone is going to either reuse the labeling or they're going to do like a half-ass labeling. But the way we're doing it, and I know the way you're doing it, is you're actively going through each thing. And as a result, you're naturally finding additional things to bring to their attention to serve them just by doing your job on a higher level. They get to be served because you're catching things and they could be proactive rather than reactive. And they're also being served in that when they need to turn something off, it's not lights, plugs, garage. It's like, all right, sweet. We know what we're dealing with. So it's a win-win for everyone.
So we've actually found that a lot of times when we do the service upgrades, we usually do them in 2 days, right? So we found that on the second day, by the time power gets cut back on, we're rushed to try to label these panels. So we don't even touch that. We come back a third day when we're fresh and we're not rushed and it's not the end of the shift. And that's when we label these panels so that we know we're going to take our time, we're going to do it right. And the beauty to that, to speak to some of the other core values we got, is if you're not priced right, you can't do that. If you're not pricing yourself right from the beginning, that's why a lot of these people don't label the panels, because they're just like, oh, we've already got 16 hours invested. Sorry, that's all you get for what we charged you.
Or use the old labels.
Yeah. Let's take all the labels off, put them back on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good level of service. And it's one of those things that can escape homeowners. That's one of those little hidden things they don't even realize. It's like the price of safety. We always said the price of safety is so hard to quantify rather, because nothing happens when it works.
Yeah.
To a homeowner, it's the same sort of thing. It's like, well, yeah, I guess so. You did your job. But we know behind the lines, every electrician listening to this knows what it's like to be rushed at that final hour and actually go through and to go even more specific, like enhance, like the specific label that was written crooked or placed slightly crooked. And you go, I'm not going to fix that. They'll get over it because it's time to go.
Yeah.
I've got the next call. I've got to pick up my kids. I've got to do these things.
Yeah.
It's that
Absolutely.
rush that defeats us.
Yeah, we just finished a service upgrade Monday, 2 days ago, and it wasn't. We did the job on Friday, but we had to come back to label that panel, And it's like Friday at 5 p.m. Am I going to focus on labeling the panel 100%? Yeah, I want to say I would, but I also know I've got to go pick dinner up on the way home. So yeah, why even put us in that position? Let's just plan to be there Monday for however long.
And speaking to that on one more thing, like I've been finding, even though I have a brand new home, I'm doing a ton of electric work to it. And the labeling is so half-assed that I have to relabel the entire thing. Like literally, I feel like back in the day where I'm calling my wife upstairs. I'm like, "Is that turning off?"
Yeah.
Laundry room, did bathroom, kitchen was not in kitchen. Like it was crazy.
You mean there's more than 5 breakers labeled receptacles? Wow.
Who would have thought, right?
Your care exceeds just this interview, your care for your clients, that is. I don't know if you know this, Austin. You got honorable mention sometime around end of January, February. We actually had Guillermo Castillo on the podcast right around that time. And he had mentioned they did this data deep dive.
Yeah.
And on that data deep dive, what they found was repeat customers spent 3 times more on average than the one-time customers that you get in-house.
Mhm.
And right at that time, it was like during the same week, you had just reported a big win, which was, I think it was Christmas week. You guys sold, I think it was a platinum. It included a club membership,
Mhm.
Yeah.
your version of it. And then in January, you went and did that inspection. And the next ticket, I believe what it was is the first ticket was about 5,000 and your next ticket was $15,000 directly as a result of that inspection. And it 3X and we went, "Oh my gosh." He's right. It
You know what's
just happened in the
crazy?
shortest time frame we've ever seen it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we started, that was actually our it's arguable. We launched our first class pass membership Christmas week. And so that was either depending on what time of day it was either the first or the second first class pass that was ever sold. Me and Cameron sold one that day, and I sold one that day. And I haven't dug deep to really find out who won that battle. But so the $5,000 ticket was the panel change. The $15,000 wasn't even the panel change. It was an emergency situation. They had a panel. It already had the outside. It was a newer home. Had the outside disconnect, whatever. So the 5,000 was the panel change, and then they needed a whole home inspection, and they saw some value in the other additions with the first class pass, being on a first class pass holder. And we came back out and did that, and yeah, I mean, it needed work, and they knew that, so they found value in that, and couldn't be more happier with that situation. So
So proud of you, brother. You're doing
Yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
amazing. And I
it took
think
us
a
a
lot of,
long time. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, it just took us a long time to really get around to the club membership offer, the first class pass holder stuff, and um, instant. We had instant results with it, and we have customers that are excited to be a part of that. As crazy as that sounds, if you have any doubt about that, I had doubt about it for a long time. I wasn't willing to offer it until I knew it was something that I found the value in. Like that's so important to me, and I do 100% see the value in it, and now my customers do because of that. So,
That's huge. It's a big takeaway. And I feel like this is one of those, like, this will be on the test moments. In trade school, we listen for that, right? Like, oh,
yeah,
guys, this will be on the test. Oh, great. I wasn't paying attention for the last 20 minutes, but I'm going to focus now.
yeah,
What I mean by that is if you're listening to this, if you're watching us on YouTube, wherever you are, guys, please take notice of what Austin just said. Club memberships are way more complex in your head than they need to be. If you haven't implemented this, please take care of your customers at a higher level just by offering to take care of them at a higher level. And if they take it, it's so simple. I think this is even a value piece we've given away for free a few times that gives you a basic outline. If you want that, just go ahead and comment club outline. We'll send it to you guys to help you out with that. It's something we believe in, just like Austin is saying. If you just offer to serve at the higher level, look what happens. The problem is the whole process is built on this. So many times we rush in, rush out, or we say things in our own head that never get verbalized, but it stops us from just offering more. Would it be wrong of us to do that, Joe?
No, and I love you dropping that on me. No, Clay, it wouldn't be wrong.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, one of the things that's really come forward in this interview, and I wanted to talk about it as well, Austin. A couple times you've made us laugh in this one. Little giggle, the belly laugh actually is what you're famous for inspiring in our group, but also in your content. Your content has been absolute fire. You guys have done a ton of video stuff, a lot of organics. I know that at times you've thought, well, maybe this is worth it, maybe it isn't. How are you feeling about it right now? Because I know so many people look up to it and think, wow, that stuff is good.
So I went through this shift, a negative shift in my personally a few months back, and I was like, man, we need to cut back on some of that. Like it's not easy to make that content. It's not cheap to make that content for the most part. And I was like, this year's been different than previous years. Like let's cut back just a little bit, right? And then I started thinking, and I was like, the way I'm justifying this is, well, we just have less leads than before, so we just need to stop doing that. And it's like, if we didn't do that, we would have no leads. And on top of that, we get so much feedback. Um, so, ironically, 10 minutes before this conversation, or before we started this podcast, I was looking through just some analytics and then some of our views and stuff. So, people are, when they engage with us on our videos and stuff now, they're watching more than just one. They're watching that one. Like, so I, it's not hard to it's not hard for me to bump something, right? Like I can go make a comment on it and it'll get pushed to the top and people will see it. Well, now when I do that, videos that are 3 rows deeper than that are gaining 400 views in a night. So it's like it's a gift that keeps giving. It's marketing that keeps giving. And yeah, there's a little bit of an upfront investment in that, but it's there. It doesn't go away. And on top of that, it's genuine. Like we enjoy. I can promise you, I enjoy making those videos. And the secret to that is hated it at first. I didn't want to be on camera. You know what I mean? Like I can be funny and and genuine and stuff, but it scares me sometimes to be on camera. Like I'm self-conscious about a ton of stuff. That's every human is. Um, but it's so much fun and people love it. And it's a good conversation piece. Even when I'm out talking with customers, they just laugh about whatever we were doing lately, or, some of my ideas come from customers. They're like, man, we'd love to see y'all do this, love to see y'all do that. I'd love to know more about this.
Nailed it. Nailed it. So for the people that are still feeling like, well, I'm shy on camera, I don't want to do that. What advice, or do you have a trick or something you did to overcome that, or just get over it and head straight for it? Like what happened for you?
You can do it 10 times. And as long as one of them's good, you got one. You can always restart when you start a video, man. When we first started doing it, uh, if so we have a guy that works with us named Tony, right? He does a lot of our marketing stuff. He was behind the camera with our camera. Like we have a production team that comes with video stuff. He was standing there and I had a meltdown. Like I had a panic attack after we've been doing this for 2 months. And I was like, I can't do this right now. We've got to stop, get out of my face. Can't do this right now. And it's like, that's okay because I can take a breath for 10 minutes and we can start again. Or maybe something else will come to me and we'll do something different. Um, and just try. And if you don't like it, you can always hit the delete button. You don't have to do it, but you never know until you try.
Really good share. I like that. You can do it again. You can do it 10 times. You just need one good one, one acceptable
Absolutely.
one. Love that.
Yeah.
Austin, you've
Present
been
over
around
perfect.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, present over perfect, and like the best explanation of it.
Present, not perfect. Absolutely.
Sometimes the blooper reels go a lot further than you'd think as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, and we know there's so much you could do to maximize this and use those videos and even begin to get your staff comfortable with it by leading that way and set up intro videos where you're interviewing and not just on the authority stuff like how long you've been an electrician, but like,
Yeah.
take a page from Stephen Colbert. What's your favorite sandwich?
Yeah.
That stuff's fun to know about the person that's coming to your house. And it can just lighten the mood a little bit so that your client doesn't have to be nervous. And I'm a huge advocate of this. I think you'll see more of this content on the podcast in the future, guys. Austin, I wanted to compliment you though on a couple years of being with us at this point, and even longer, as you mentioned, just in our groups and hanging with the people that we hang with. You've become a bit of a mentor in the group as well. I think there's a number of people that look up to you and look up to Cam and Wes and your team, and they have questions for you. And I'm wondering if you could, to wrap this one up today, share maybe one of the most frequently asked questions you get and maybe some of the best advice you'd have for someone else asking those questions.
Absolutely. A lot of the like people that first join, it's sometimes it's overwhelming to get to get your numbers right. There really is a lot that goes into finding the right rate, to charge, and it can be overwhelming to the point of, well, I'm just going to shelf this and I'll do it later, or I'll bring this up next week and talk to someone else about it. You know what I mean? That's a big one, and I just want to say, just keep plugging at it, do it. It's tough, but you can. That's such a key first step to take. Is to really understand your numbers and make sure that you're at a point where you can be profitable. Because if you're not profitable, you're not going to take time to, like I said earlier, you can't really serve your customer if you're in a rush, if you can't afford to be there serving them. But yeah, I would say that's a good first place to start. Good question I get. Nowadays, I do get a lot of questions about marketing and Google and stuff like that. I enjoy that stuff. Let me just say, I'm nowhere near a marketing guru or a Google guru, but I enjoy talking about that stuff, so that's fun. Uh, I'm at a point now where a lot of the conversations I have during the day are about leads and about data and numbers, KPIs and stuff like that, which is something that I've fallen in love with over the last year. To be completely honest with you, that's a hidden superpower right there in your business is tracking your KPIs. Um, it can change your life next year. So.
Love that. Thank you for the share. And what advice, if you had to give someone advice out there then who's just listening to this and you know what, maybe they're on the fence, don't know what to do next. Maybe they're just like you, feeling like good old boy electric, not quite dialed in. I mean, what are the first steps for them? What do you think would help them out to hear from you?
The hardest thing for me was understanding that I did need help. That I could be a great. I'll say it today. I'm a dang good electrician. I'm a really hard worker, especially when it's got my name attached to the brand. Like no one's going to outwork me. That's the way it's my mindset. Physically, maybe not, but that's my mindset. And it's hard to know you need help. It's hard to admit that maybe there's people that know better about this business stuff than me. So reaching out to, if nothing else, like a coaching group, I know two guys that are great right here on the podcast with me. But any kind of coaching group, any kind of anywhere you can get advice. Don't be ashamed to take that advice. Don't be ashamed to act on it, and don't be ashamed to ask questions. I wish I had done it 3 years before I did. It would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of headache. Yeah.
Really good shares. Thank you so much for that. Joseph, any closing comments on this one, brother?
Really at the end of the day, I think, Austin, your story is best summed up in present over perfect because, as you say, like, you need help in certain things and sometimes hard to admit, but I've seen so much personal growth in the years of knowing you. I've seen a ton of professional growth. And I think you're really an inspiration for a lot of people who wonder if they can't do it because I remember you thought the same thing. And yet here you are, immensely successful, leading a team of people who love you and respect you, clients who are enamored to be first class members. You're doing the right things, you're doing it for the right reasons, and I'm immensely proud of you.
I appreciate that.
It's really my
Awesome.
pleasure.
Thanks so much for this time, Austin. Thanks, Joe. And we'll see you guys next week.
Take care, friends.
Thank you.
I'm on full waterworks right now. It's rough.
Oh yeah, you are crying.
Yeah.
It's being a dad. It's just say this. We're recording. Just say they're growing up.
They're growing up so fast.
Oh, you oversold that.
I felt that one.
We dropped our son off this summer for summer camp, just day camp, and I bawled like a baby. I mean, like sobbing. And my wife was just like, "Wow, that is not what I expected to happen today." I knew she was going to cry. She was not expecting me, and I sobbed for an hour.
Girl dad for the win.
This is funny. You guys might laugh at this. My daughter's 16 and a half now, and she reached out a week ago and she said, "Dad, there's something I want to ask you, but I'm actually scared to ask it." A year ago, I bought her concert tickets for her and myself. And then last minute, she said, well, my friend Cam wants to come. We're going to get her a ticket. Could you help with the airfare and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, it's like, this is about us. We're bonding. And so she totally got mad and wouldn't go to the concert with me because I'm dad and I'm no fun. And it was one of those hard lessons, is like, am I doing the right thing by standing my ground? But I don't really believe in giving kids a yes every single time, you know? What ends up happening is when she calls me just a week ago, she's like, well, last year I made a mistake. This is still my favorite concert and we didn't go and it's my fault. Didn't make the right choice and I'm sorry about that. For my birthday, will you take me to that concert? It's coming again this year. I'll buy the tickets for you and me with my new job. And I'm like, Micaiah, I gotta go. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. I gotta go. I'll call you right back. And I just get off the FaceTime as fast as possible and I start bawling. It was just like such a proud dad moment. Oh,
listen, we've got to stop because I'm going to start crying just listening. I can't handle this.
You get three muffins in one room, and this is what happens.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
going to go live and we're all just going to be
Girl dad for the win.
Yeah, girl dad for the win.